All right, and Pika, I believe, is the first runner to end up with a tempered sword.
Yes. Oh, Duke takes a death into the change-up room.
Yeah, that tempered sword is a huge find. You know, once you get that sword, you feel pretty confident doing everything you're going to have to do from that point on. It does a convenient amount of damage.
Oh, hey, everybody, we're live again.
Hey, welcome back. We missed you.
You hear rambling? Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm rambling. All right, so to keep you guys updated on what's been going on while we've been having these technical difficulties, basically all the runners have done things the others have already done. The only difference is that we've finally seen Ice Palace from both Kyong and PikaPals going through it now. The only thing I remember seeing in Ice Palace worth any relevance was the sword upgrade. So Kyong now has Master, PikaPals now has Tempered.
Yep, and just before, or maybe during the time that we came, we were just talking a little bit, you know, that tempered sword is a huge find. Really, really huge find. It increases your comfort level as a runner almost immeasurably. You know, it makes a lot of things free, whereas before you'd be a little bit concerned about them.
So let's see if what Kyung does next, because he's the one that I think of our forerunners, he has the most done at this point.
I think that's correct. I think, you know, again, nobody has a huge advantage, but he's probably edging out just slightly. Okay, so it looks like Kyong is going to be going back into Thieves, which leads me to believe that we found the Thieves Town big key somewhere.
I think Cold Stare dropped it.
Okay.
That's pretty big. I think Kyong, do we have the flute yet? I don't think so. I think that's the only thing we're missing for commentators chat's no mode.
Yep.
For Kyong, he still needs to go to pod because he doesn't get that bow.
Yeah, that bow is such a huge play. Finding that in pod, you know, nobody's expecting that.
Kirby getting bailed up by the fairy on the Trinex fight.
Yep. So the one thing that's always a bummer is coming into Thieves Town without the boots, because it's just so darn satisfying to get that dash up and the God Pixel. And when it all lines up for you just right, you get to dash from the very bottom of that room to the very top, and you feel great.
And I think we are now back to 99.9% functionality.
All right.
Alright, so now you can see where everybody is. Like we said, Kyung is now going through Thieves Town. He obviously has the big key from there, and I believe Cold Stare drops it. So we'll see once PikaPals takes care of Cold Stare, which I will believe we can do here really easily right now. So top race is very close. It's going to come down to when does Kyung get that bow.
Yeah, definitely.
The bottom race also very close because they're basically in the same, almost 2 rooms behind. SlimKirby is basically just trying to fight ahead.
Yeah, given the difference in their routing, the fact that they've both converged this close to sync is pretty amazing, actually.
I like what Duke's doing here. He's down to 1.5 hearts. He's gonna grab some fairies.
Absolutely.
Normally, you only see this cave in entrance shuffle. Hey, there's 2 fairies here that you can use to refill your health.
And he's gonna leave some bees in their place, just as a, you know, kind of karma thing.
Ooh, that's a nice little trolley pod. Big key in the maiden's chest.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's gonna lead that's gonna lead Kyong to go to pod though. So that's good. That's good for him. It's gonna be bad for PikaPals if we don't find the flute anywhere soon.
Absolutely. That said, we could find that flute in the pod big chest. Or on Helmosaur.
That is very true. So SlimKirby, he's about to go to Spike Cave. He's gonna get his second sword.
Yeah, so Pika making the same play on Thebes, which, you know, is obviously good, getting that done. And I think that, you know, with that big key being discovered, you know, you have to think, okay, well, I just unlocked a whole pile of this dungeon.
So one thing I just realized on Kirby's side, he completed Eastern while we were away.
Interesting.
So that means he can open up Pyramid Fairy.
That is very true. The thing we don't necessarily know is whether he did. Well, I guess no, because he needed, what was the other one? TR was a while ago.
No, he just beats on a rock.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what Kirby's going to check now. I think he's going to make the Pyramid Fairy play.
I think it's a good one. You know, it's a relatively quick check. You know, it's 2 chests, and you know, if you find that flute in there, you probably go straight to Mire at that point, at least to the Mire area. So it's really the last of the, you know, sort of discernible information that we can get from visiting locations.
Looks like Kyong is indeed going to head over to Pod, so this is going to be a big play for him. I don't know how many small keys he has. Tracker says 4, and that's probably an accurate number. He has never been in here yet.
Yeah, it definitely seems plausible. And the good thing is that, well, the unfortunate thing is he doesn't, well, he's going to get the bow, but it'll be interesting to see how he chooses to route this dungeon.
He's going back. Did he not get the pyramid earlier?
Looks like
there's a
not.
bottle here. I thought he was here already, and he knows it's a bottle. Unless he wants to grab. Oh, he's going to. Okay, so he's doing.
Oh, he's going to go do.
Check the 2 chests and hang them. Okay,
that's a smart play, I think, at this point.
I like it. All right, here we go. Pyramid Fairy for SlimKirby. We have the flute. Oh my goodness. Man.
The dream. Okay.
So all we need now, all SlimKirby needs now to complete the seed, from what we see, is the Desert Palace Big Key.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a whole lot of places that could be right now. But if it were me, I gotta tell you, checking that Mire area is high on my list right now.
I am doing Mire as soon as possible.
Yeah, with Mire being a crystal, you're going over there anyway, and now, you know, this is anecdotal, you know, superstitious nonsense, but I don't know, you know, that Mire area, those chests love to unlock stuff in the Mire area.
There is one slight downside though, and that's if Bamos is required for Mire.
True. But I mean, regardless, getting that information is huge.
Yes.
So. And PikaPals is doing our second blind fight. We kind of glossed over the first one because other stuff was going on, but Kyong had a really nice fight, and Pika follows in turn. Both of these players clearly pretty comfortable with the scripted version of that fight and able to get it done, no sweat.
gets his tempered sword.
Yeah, it's such a relief. You know, you get that tempered sword and you feel so much better about everything.
Because then you're just like, oof, don't have to use a Master Sword strapped on Ganon.
Especially when you're, you know, coming up on a boss like Cold Stare. The difference, you know, he does have half magic and the Fire Rod, but Cold Stare with Tempered and Cold Stare with Master are, you know, two very different experiences.
Now, Kyong's going through Pod now. We know he's going to have to burn this key to go to the back, but we also know there's going to be a vanilla key in here somewhere. So if he hammer yumps, he can open every chest in Pod, including killing Humsar.
Yep.
Now, Pod is the green pendant of note, so hey, you never know. It could be Sahashla could be hiding that Desert Palace key, for all we know.
Yep.
Now, one also interesting note about this Desert Palace play is that I believe it was DukeFireBird. He stole the small key, so he still needs the small key to complete the dungeon as well now. Whereas the others don't need that small key.
That is the risk that you run. You know, anytime you steal that small key, you are adding the chance that there is a key you otherwise could have skipped that is now required. And it's a gamble.
PikaPals heading back into oh, he's on the Eastern first. Okay, and we know this is the right play because, excuse me, you need to take care of Eastern to open up the Pyramid Fairy to get that flute.
Yeah. This will be convenient routing for him in general, though, because he'll just be able to walk out, grab that warp, go take care of Pod. I believe he came in mirrored from the Dark World, right? When he came over here?
PikaPals did, yes.
Yeah.
Nice health upgrade for DukeFireBird for completing that piece of heart. It sounded like a lot of hearts went by.
Yeah. Kirby having a little bit of trouble with the Ice Palace bomb jump. This is one of those situations where, you know, if you're a person who switches sprites periodically, it can definitely throw you off a little bit on those things. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have an easy method where I just make sure I'm on the top pixel, and then I make sure the sword, there's one pixel between the sword and the bottom of the bomb.
So in this case, you know, that's great for the vertical lineup. In this case, it looked like the horizontal lineup was trolling him a little bit. And when you look at the back end of your sprite, if you're using that for your lineup, it can definitely be a little bit challenging.
Yeah. I just hope I'm on the last possible pixel. And
yeah, I mean, that's...
just hope for the best.
There are a couple of horizontal lineups that work, but learning to recognize them with each sprite can be a little bit of an interesting challenge. Oh boy. Small key to Ice Palace, so...
Alright, so that's not necessary.
Well, we're going to pin our hopes on Helmasaur at this point.
Helmasaur or the Mire area. Okay, there's the sword that we've found in the dark.
Yep.
Which, when PikaPals got it, it was in the dark. When the other two got it, it was in the dark for everybody.
Correct. So I think that puts all of our runners on Tempered at this point.
Yes, and they all have the same 3 swords. Again, after all these route divergences and different strategies, the top race basically in the same spot, bottom race almost in the same spot.
Yeah, I mean the sync, you know, is kind of shocking.
Yeah, I think SlimKirby has a slight lead on Duke because he's already completed Eastern, has already got that flute already.
Correct.
The other two are pretty much neck and neck.
It's really interesting that, you know, in open, you know, when we're looking for somebody with the lead, you know, Crystal Advantage is, I don't say everything, but it's definitely pretty big indicator, you know, who's closer to finishing the game. And Keysanity, with the number of things you potentially need to find, you know, it's not uncommon for people to come back from a 2 crystal, you know, trailing position, just because they happen to find the right key at the right time.
I'm sure Kyong is relieved when he opened that last chest. He's already to mirror out, and he got up of another small key. Now I can complete this dungeon.
Yep.
Alright, Duke is now done with ice. Let's see what his next play is going to be. PikaPals and Kyong making the play towards Helmisar, which is the green pendant. So there's going to be 2 items here. One from Helmisar himself and one from Sahashala once you're done.
Yeah, DukeFireBird heading over to Village of Outcasts. I think this is a smart play for him. He's got both Thieves Town and Skullwoods to clear. So this is definitely a high value part of the world for him to be in right now.
Helmisar goes down and 4 Temper Sword slashes from PikaPals. And he drops the mushroom.
Oh my goodness.
So you want to do a fetch quest?
All right. Well, let's see. What? I mean, you know, there's not a lot that we can go fetch questy on at this point, to be honest.
That key. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I'm a little sad, to be honest. You know, you always want the you know, the mushroom to powder to shovel to, you know, you want that good. If you're gonna fetch quest, you want that really good, you know, Link's Awakening length chain. But unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get it today.
All right. Let's see if Kyong immediately mirrors out. Yeah, he's going to go take care of Eastern now. He has that bow. So he's going to get that all-important red crystal to open up the Pyramid Fairy. PikaPals, the only things he skipped, I think, was this big chest here. He's going to go open that now.
Well, he is going into the dark maze. Maybe I don't know if he maybe skipped the top left chest. Yeah, he did.
Oh, it's just the net. That's right, he died in this room. He got the sword, but didn't get that other chest. Alright, so now PikaPal's going to go to Sahashala. If Sahashala hiding this key, and that pod pendant is required. Oh boy. Ooh, piece of heart.
Yeah, not what we were hoping for.
SlimKirby, the first one to activate the Swag Duck. Let's see, PikaPals. I'm assuming his next play will be to actually get the flute from the Pyramid Fairy. And yes, that looks like where he's going.
And here's an area where I'm expecting the routing, you know, to be very different. You know, Kirby still has all this Village of Outcasts stuff to do at this point, so it makes sense for him to stick around. PikaPals, I'm expecting to see him mirror and flute immediately after picking up, well, mirror and then go activate.
Yeah, SlimKirby still has to take care of both these dungeons here, so he'll probably knock these out before heading over to my area.
Absolutely.
All right, so for PikaPals and for Kyong, if they really want a heart container, they know where they can get one.
True.
Because they have all 3 pendants.
I think at this point, though, the amount of health that these runners have it's a very comfortable amount of health, given that we've got red mail, we've got the tempered sword, we've got a million bottles.
If these runners go out of their way to pull a pedestal just for heart container, I will eat a hat.
Look, I mean, on the one hand, I would commend their commitment to whatever it is they think they're committing to, but I definitely think it would be an interesting choice.
Yeah. Now, if you're over here already, blind pull, that's a different story. But
absolutely.
Like SlimKirby, he hasn't completed pod yet, so he's not going to blind pull the pedestal.
So my hope here, my expectation is that Pika is going to activate this flute and immediately head over to my area. I don't really think he has anything better to be doing at this point.
I don't think he has anything else to do, period, at this point.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what we find over there, because I think that the closest that we're going to get to a fetch questy situation here is if we find the boots, either as a result of that mushroom or as in Meyer area. He is going to turn in the mushroom prior to going to Meyer area. It's not a bad choice.
Again, the only thing we really need to see right now is the Desert Palace Big Key.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I would have strongly considered that fake powder glitch prior to turning in that mushroom.
That is true. But here's the thing: we already know that it won't be Ganon's tower. So
yeah, well, we know, but when you're this late in, and you still don't have the powder, and you're
I don't think these runners have skipped anything where like the powder really can't be any place trolly if it will lead to the key.
No, it can't be too bad, but it's the question is saving 2 or 3 minutes, potentially.
Yeah. We have butter.
Alrighty.
And it's Quake for Myers, so we don't need the Bombus Medallion.
We are good to go.
I didn't think we were going to need the Bombus Medallion. Bombus Medallion probably going to be hiding in GT somewhere.
All right, let's see Checkerboard Cave. Finish it out. I love it when the thing you need is in Checkerboard Cave.
Sadly, you need a 10 bomb upgrade?
I mean, it's a
10 upgrade. That's better than a 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unhelpful. Unfortunately, not what we need and not worth picking up.
All right, so now I think it's pretty safe to say at this point, when it comes to runners having the lead, that the 2 runners on the left have the lead in their respective races.
I think
House has a slight lead over Kyong, and SlimKirby has a... Well, no, wait. I wouldn't say that, because SlimKirby is not done Thieves Town yet, and DukeFireBird already has. So those 2 runners are close, except that Duke still needs to go grab that flute and complete Eastern. So yeah. So they're both about a dungeon separated, just as different dungeons. Yeah,
and I think you have to consider, what work do they actually have to do. I think, I don't know, Helmasaur. Well, let's see. The bottom race, they've both got Helmasaur left to do, so they're about on even footing there. Yeah.
We already know that Helmasaur is not required.
True.
And I don't think they'll go back to just to kill Helmasaur at this point, because the only thing they'll need to do is... I mean, they might, just because they have to go to Eastern anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what I was thinking, is that, well, DukeFireBird does. SlimKirby has already finished Eastern.
Yes. Find the compass for desert. Is that going to be a telltale sign that maybe we'll find the key for desert in here too?
I mean, there's only so many more places it can be. So...
Like you said, find the boots in here, it opens up 2 more spots that it could be.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're hoping for, right? Boots?
I mean, I always, I like runners to have boots. for them, it makes the game a lot more fun. I think everybody wants the boots, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff that people can do with the boots, especially in GT during the ascent, and it's always nice for runners to have that and get to do their preferred strats.
Right, Kyong92 right on the heels of PikaPals heading into Mire.
Its top race is very, very close.
I think is Duke gonna use that? I think he found the Hera small key, and he's gonna use that to gamble the Hera basement. This is something no one's checked yet.
Yeah, and it could be the play. I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If this is the play, that's gonna be huge for these guys because no one's gonna think about checking this one chest.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here is that it doesn't look like he's gonna do it, but if in fact what we need is in Mire, Kyong had opted to go do the right side stuff first. That could have been an interesting way to make up some time. But it looks like he's gonna go clear the left side first. I mean, it's a standard kind of route, and there's no reason not to do it, but we just happen to know that the left side didn't pay off.
We have that's it. Desert Pals Big Key, ladies and gentlemen. PikaPals is now in go mode. So now between PikaPals and Kyong92, it's going to be solely execution from here on out. PikaPals probably has about a minute to 2 minute lead on Kyong at this point.
Yeah, and that's significant, especially with the gear that they have and at the skill level of these. But stuff happens, and it's definitely not impossible for a fall at Ganon or anything else that's really anything involving a death. Could very easily even this race up really, really quick.
Kyong now also has go mode, so yeah, it's about a minute apart at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the powder in the Hera basement.
Oh, wow.
So, again, one thing you have to remember with DukeFireBird's side, he stole the key from Desert, so he still needs a small key from Desert along with that big key.
Yeah, it's a very, very risky play. I've done it a few times in casual races, and, every time I do it, I say, I'm never going to do that again. But sometimes it's very tempting, and it can pay off big when it works, but it's a big risk when you do it in Keysanity.
Yeah. What's funny is that Duke was the one that he refused to sequence break the lamp, the entire seed, and then he sequence breaks his stat instead. And that's going to be the one that might cost him.
And Pika going to give us a little taste of the almost NMG strats for Vitreous.
Slightly faster with the butter sword as opposed to the temper that you would have in NMG.
So, the interesting thing is it's actually not substantially faster except for the cleanup at the end. The butter sword already does maximum damage with slashes. It does not do more damage with spins. So it's actually exactly the same amount of damage during the spins as the tempered sword.
These runners haven't found the silvers yet, but at this point, they have the butter sword. These guys know silverless, so it's not going to be a huge deal for them.
No, I'm expecting everybody in this race to be fairly comfortable with silvers, or silverless. And Pika doing the nice little mirror to get straight over to the entrance to the back of Desert Palace.
Yeah, very convenient to find the go mode big key for Desert in the right near Desert.
Oh, absolutely.
And right after this, it's going to be Yanis Tower. And sub 2 is still in the cards for these guys if they execute correctly.
Yeah, I think given that we're not searching for the GT big key, we've got plenty of small keys. It's possible. It's going to be tight, but with a good gauntlet, they can do it.
SlimKirby, he's now making the right play as well. He's going to be diving into Mire, and once he finds his big key, he will also be in go mode. So he's not that far behind PikaPals and Kyong92 after all that route divergence. He's only about 3 minutes behind our top 2 runners. And he has a really nice lead on DukeFireBird at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Duke, unfortunately, got led a little bit astray by some of the checks that he does. It's just one of those Keysanity things. There's so many possibilities for progression items, because keys are now progression items.
Oh, there's your silvers. No more silverless.
Oh, well, there you go.
Silvers on landmalls.
Wow.
Well, now these runners have literally everything they need. They have butter, they have red, they have silvers. They've
got more than what they need. They've got everything they possibly want.
They're
about as well equipped as you can be.
The dream.
Having powder would be nice. Boots would be great, but aside from that, they're pretty happy with their situation in life right now.
Well, Duke has the powder. But yeah, none of these runners have found the boots yet. They're probably buried deep in Gannis Tower somewhere. We'll never find them.
Yep.
So Duke finding the fourth key for Turtle Rock. He's looking at his menu. He's like, what else does it do? And we know he has to go to Eastern. That's all you have to do.
Yep.
Oh, he doesn't have the big key for Eastern yet.
Oh.
I forgot where that was.
Me too. That was a while ago.
So that's where you got led astray. He does not have the big key for Eastern yet either.
Yep. No, that's pretty rough.
So Eastern needs the big key for Eastern, the small key for Desert, and the big key for Desert. Where we know the big key for Desert is, in Meyer.
Yeah, although we have
where the big key for Eastern, I completely forgot about.
Yeah,
I think we got it early.
That small key for Desert, we have no clue where that is.
Yeah, I don't think it could technically be in Gannis Tower, because I'm pretty sure this the lot. If you logic break, you won't be able to get that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think the chat's right. I think it's at the chest by Uncle.
Oh goodness.
That's where the Eastern key is.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because it was very early. They were able to go there and check all that real quick. I'm actually shocked that he does not have that, because I seem to recall him going to Uncle.
SlimKirby now going to be in go mode for his race. Duke is going back into Turtle Rock. There's one chest he hasn't checked here, and that's the vanilla big key chest. Just found the last small key for us. Now we can open it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be the direction he needs to be going in.
It looks like the difference in time between Pika and Kyong is literally just 1 minute.
Yep, I mean, you don't want to wish anything to happen on anybody, but this is definitely his late stage fall at Ganon away from being effectively tied. So
yeah, but I'm pretty sure with the safeties they have, with the items they have, that Ganon shouldn't be too much of a problem for these runners. But hey, you never know. Crazy things have happened.
Yep, most certainly. But that Butter Sword, with only 6 hits per cycle on Ganon, it's pretty safe.
As our top runners make their way through the column, let's see what this one chest had. If this is the desert, it's the desert key. Oh wow, he got bailed out.
Wow.
Now he just has to remember to go. Oh, please say you remember and you're gonna go. No,
man, he's happy to see that key, but at the same time, he's like, God, look what I did to myself.
Yeah.
Having to route all the way up there to get a key that he wouldn't have needed otherwise.
He is going to go probably back to pod at this point, complete pod.
Yep. He may actually do the same thing that I think Kyong did, and actually mirror and do Eastern first, and then jump back.
Well, I think he's already been in Eastern, just that he does it the big key, so he really can't do anything.
Oh right, he still doesn't have that. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah.
All right, PikaPals up to the. Oh, okay. Can't fall there.
Yeah, this is one of those rooms where
without the boots, it's so.
Yeah. Even with the boots, it's not free. There's actually, a pretty narrow band of boots where you're guaranteed not to get bounced by them, but it's much easier to hit than without the boots.
Yep, they're on the same floor again. They're both on the 5th floor. Just a few rows behind. Kyong is making up a little bit of time here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, the little slip up in that conveyor belt room got him back a little bit, just keep at it up. Unfortunately, Kyong missing the Samaria block on the Wiz robes.
Yeah, no need to open these chests. Even if boots are in these chests, it's not worth it at this point.
No, not at all.
Boots are not going to help you too much.
It's one of those things where I think if they were still missing silvers, you might open 1, maybe 2 of these chests on the way here, but that's realistically about it.
Yeah.
And making quick work, yeah. When you have Butter Sword like that, you're really just using the spins just to increase the amount of time that you're doing damage. It's a little bit easier to catch his tail. This is probably my least favorite room to do without the boots, is this mini Helmasaur conveyor belt room.
I'd probably bring the cape out at that point.
He did an excellent job of dodging his way through there. That was really good. Right. And interestingly enough, he did check the Moldorm 2 chest, as I like to refer to it.
Kyong took it.
Oh, no.
Moldorm. PikaPals with a 2 and a 2 to start off the Aga 2 fight. And looks like he's going to get another 2 here, so he's going to triple 2. Oh, he got it anyway. All right. Nice, clean fight. And PikaPals on his way to get it.
Yep. Some people get a little bit suspicious about that Moldorm 2 chest, but I think when you're, in a competitive situation and you're wondering whether you're, it makes a lot of sense to skip it, and Kyong chooses to do so.
Yeah, you don't need anything in that chest. All right, PikaPals entering again a fight. At this point, it's going to be really close to being a 2-hour run here. I think he's just going to miss it by a little bit.
It's definitely possible. I mean, with Butter Sword, it's possible. Butter Sword and Silvers.
If he gets a good warp pattern, he can get it.
Yep. And more than enough hits on Ganon.
Well, we gotta be careful.
Okay, well, off to a good start.
That's good. That's good.
Yep, still possible. Very tight. It's possible we might tick over 2 during the fanfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with these warps.
All right, it's going to be very close to sub 2. I think he's going to miss the fanfare. I think you're right.
Oh, just missing the torch glitch, but no big deal. Yeah, Ganon will be dead, but sub 2 for sure. Oh, we might get it.
No, it's not. It's a 15-second fanfare.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
so
GG's
close,
to PikaPals. He is going to be the first one to finish this crazy Keysanity seed and win his race against Kyong92.
So PikaPals has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours and 7 seconds. So ludicrously close to the sub 2.
Well, Kyong about to enter phase 4 of Ganon. He's going to be maybe not even a minute behind here.
No, yeah, it's going to be Very, very close race. Both of these runners should feel really good about how to proceed.
It's a shame that Kyong has to fall down to 1-1 after such a great race.
Yeah. This has been a really interesting tournament. There's so many runners in this tournament at such a wide variety of skill level, random matchups. None of these groups is safe. There are amazing players in 1-1. It's pretty crazy. So Kyong has officially finished in second place with an SRL time of 2 minutes, 1 second, or 2 minutes, 2 hours, 1 minute, and 1 second. So less than a minute between the two of them. An incredibly, incredibly close race.
DukeFireBird, he's in the right general area. I don't know if he realizes just exactly where he has to go from here. Hopefully he mirrors here and goes to check.
Yeah. So we've got people. Hopefully we're going to be able to get these guys in for an interview. Looks like we do have PikaPals ready, so let me bring him in here. Hey, PikaPals, GG.
Hey, thanks.
Very, very well done. It was such a close race, but congratulations.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that I won that. I was seriously expecting Kyong to finish under 2 hours with this seed.
Well, that's finishing under 2 hours is tough for anybody in Keysanity, but this could have been faster, but I don't think either of you did anything other than play pretty darn intelligently to the routing.
Yeah, I was just expecting, maybe he went to Eastern early. Maybe he got that flute like an hour earlier than I did and made it to Meyer, hit go mode early. Just so much that could have gone wrong there.
I think the really fascinating thing, you guys would be shocked to watch it back. For the last, 2 or 3 dungeons, you were, a room and a half apart, or a couple rooms apart for a lot of it. And it was pretty shocking to see how you guys actually converged, even doing the same route inside of Meyer, which could have been a differentiator, but you both did exactly the same thing. So.
Yeah, that's kind of incredible, especially in a seed like this where it's just so open.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, the one thing I think puts you slightly ahead was the fact that Kyong did not go to pod until like the very last moment. He didn't even step foot in it. Oh, and DukeFireBird just realized where to go. He's finally going to get his Eastern Palace Big Key.
So he waited until
he was sitting there. He never went to Uncle, and he just found the Eastern Palace Big Key. Now we can go get the red crystal, then get the flute, then
Oh no!
Yeah, that is a slapping my head moment.
SlimKirby right now is he's in Moldorm 2. He was the first one to get the flute. And that's pretty much the only item we were missing most of the last half of this run was the flute and, of course, then the Desert Palace Big Key, which was locked behind the flute.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. I was 100% confident that I was not the first person with the flute.
Well, at least you guys got sub 2 in-game time, so there's that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But just barely missing out on the sub 2 in the sea where I don't think all the pendants were required, but you had to dive into pretty much all of them. Like it was definitely an interesting scene, and we now have Kyong92 with us. GG's.
GG's. Hello.
GG.
You guys were neck and neck for pretty much the last 20 minutes of this race.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys watched the VOD at some point. Actually, it was really quite a thing to see. I think going into G Tower, it was almost exactly a minute difference between the two of you, and that was it. And it shrunk over the course of the dungeon, actually.
Yeah, the difference was that Kyong fell on Moldorm, but PikaPals fell in the room after the Wizros. Doing that bootless is tough.
Yeah, very annoying room.
That bridge is impossible.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
So, so Kyong, when you found that bow, what was the first thing that was going through your mind?
I mean, that didn't worry me that much because I was still missing like 4 things to finish the game. So I didn't mind it that much.
Yeah, the fact that it was buried in a dungeon that's usually bow locked, and it's a pendant dungeon at that, and all those crazy things, and that might have been the only thing that really set you behind the seat. I think you were pretty much ahead other than that bow the entire time.
Yeah, I just saw those 4 pod keys like right away, and then that just screamed to me that I needed to run into pod at some point early.
Yeah, sometimes those breadcrumbs really add up.
Anyway, back on the stream, SlimKirby now in phase 4 of the Ganon fight. He's going to get this done pretty soon. 1 more silver hour is all he needs, and he's going to win his race against DukeFireBird.
Honestly, I think the best thing that came out of pod for me was the sword. I wish I knew I had it when I was trying to get through the dark maze.
Oh yeah, but you found it, and then you just died before you got to the other chest up there.
Yeah, the worst part is I might have actually been standing in front of the chest. I'm not sure. I don't think I was, but I might have been.
SlimKirby has finished. He has won his race against DukeFireBird with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 3 seconds. Well, DukeFireBird just finished off Eastern. Now he has to go over to the Pyramid Ferry and to continue finishing off his race. Not checking the Eastern Palace Big Key was pretty much the only thing that really set him far behind. Getting distracted and not checking Uncle and not going back there for a long time will happen to you, especially Keysanity with so many items scattered around. If you guys like what you saw, you can always follow our 4 wonderful runners here. They run a lot. Trust me, I've raced against these guys in SRL a lot. They always beat me. I think I beat SlimKirby once a couple weeks ago, so I'll take that. Yeah, we'll see when we get SlimKirby in here once he's done scrolling through his credits.
Absolutely. I think, one thing that's really interesting about Randomizer, and I think this Keysanity tournament has been a really great demonstration of that, is we've got such a wide range of skills and range of maturity as players, and nobody is safe. There's so many points of randomization in Keysanity that even the best people get trolled really, really hard. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. And we've got joining us now, SlimKirby. GG.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was a fun one. How did you feel about the seed overall?
I honestly like the seed, aside from the fact that it took so long to get sword.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really it, because honestly I felt like I routed that pretty well, it's just I wasn't getting anything, and I really, really needed and wanted that sword.
So one thing that's interesting, in case you're interested, you actually had the lowest collection rate of any of the finished runners so far.
Oh, wow.
So...
Yeah, honestly, I guess that's not too surprising. I did try to comb through everything. The main reason why I didn't jump into any dungeons right away is I just didn't have like a lot of forward progression items, and a lot of side stuff just kept opening up for me, so I wanted to keep taking care of that to get more dungeon items. So once I did start, getting all the keys, getting all the progression dungeon items, that's when I was kind of like, okay, well, let's start working on those. And when I found out that Pod was the 3rd pendant of the 2 dungeons I had already cleared, which were already pendants, I was just like, okay, there has to be something here. And then once I kind of got the sword, things, and the bow for that matter, that's when things really started opening up.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about that bow and pod. You know, it maybe not as shocking or damaging a thing to discover as it can be in open mode, but it's definitely still surprising to find that in there.
Yeah, it definitely is, because that's definitely a huge like incentive to not go in there when you don't have the bow. So it's just like, well, sometimes when it is there, it's just like a huge thing. You just kind of have to take that gamble, and thankfully it worked out. The biggest thing about pod that really kind of threw me through a loop is the thing is, and I practiced this 2 hours before the race started. I was practicing the hammer jump, but I always use a sword to help me with the hammer jump, so I didn't have that luxury. So I just could not do it, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I better go grab the other 2 treasures, and then sure enough, one was the other key for pod, and then inside the dark maze was a sword, so it's just like, well, I just wasted a lot of time on a jump that I didn't necessarily have to even do.
Well, you know, I think that what's interesting in the meta right now is with the sort of specter of a potential, you know, key lock situation in pod. You know, I know everybody has got that in the back of their mind, and they really want to save those keys. And
Yeah.
so the pressure, you know, to perform that hammer jump and to ideally be able to take the path around the right side of the dungeon is just huge right now. It's always potentially beneficial in Keysanity, but right now, especially, I think a lot of people feel nervous about pod for that reason.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. Like, people are nervous about it, but at the same time, it's also just a huge number of items in there. I want to say it's got the most items next to Ganon's Tower as far as dungeons are concerned. So it's just like there's always like so much you can get in there. So as much as you want to wait till you have the keys, sometimes it's better to just kind of bite the bullet, try to figure out what you can do, how you can optimize Palace of Darkness while you go through it, and then just kind of go in there early, because it may have some of those progression items. And in the case of this seed, it had the bow and it had a key for the dungeon, so it's like that would have, I think, saved me a lot of time if I actually went in there as opposed to Swamp, because I don't want to say anything in Swamp actually helped me out in the long run.
It was interesting because I think, you know, Swamp is generally, you know, what a lot of people would consider a very high value play. It really didn't, you know, pay out. And that happens sometimes, you know, that brings up something that's been, I don't know, it seems like it gets discussed, you know, somewhere at least once or twice a month, you know, which is this idea in modes like this, the difference between playing chess per minute or playing, you know, kind of trying to read the logic and do the breadcrumbs thing. You know, I'd be curious to know, to all three of you who are in here, you know, where do you think you fall in terms of that chess per minute versus logic reading kind of thing?
I don't know. It's really hard for me to personally answer, just because I try to adapt like my routing for every individual seed. I kind of just try to tell, like, okay, what's the seed telling me, and also try to look at adjacency as well, because I've noticed in a lot of Keysanity seeds, there might be like high volume locations around, but if I go there and it ends up not being worth it, there's another location that may have only had one chest that was a little closer. So it sometimes is worth it just going for that one chest out of the way, just because that might have the progression. You can actually kind of skip out on that other high volume location when you're until you're in the area again. So it really kind of varies on the seed, at least for me anyway.
Fair enough. Anybody else have anything to say on that?
My main objective when playing Keysanity, that at least worked the best for me, is minimizing the amount of dips I do in dungeons the best I can. So I guess I would be on the first group you mentioned that tries to maximize more chests per minute, mostly because the number of required items for Keysanity seeds is so huge, and I feel a lot of those requirements are kinda interchangeable because of how small keys work itself. So that's the approach I usually take.
Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest things about Rando, you know, is that tons of different approaches, especially in a mode like Keysanity, where, as you said, there's, it feels like, exponentially more progression items than what you're worried about in the other modes. So it's always interesting to see how tight races can be and how much people can converge, even when they're thinking about them conceptually very differently. Really quick, DukeFireBird is just in Misery Mire right now, finishing up Vitrius, so he's making his way through.
Nice.
He actually had stolen a key from Desert to check the right side, so he had to go a little bit out of his way to go get another small key.
Personally, speaking of the routing stuff, I do a little bit of breadcrumbing, especially early game. Like, oh, maybe I'll go up to Death Mountain because I got gloves and lamp rather than head down to the dam and desert area. But like, my main goal is just to avoid creating areas where there's just one chest left. Like, in Keysanity, it becomes a little different because the highest priority is not making more keys required than necessary.
Right.
Like, so I'd leave behind, say, the Turtle Rock chest, the big sheet chest, because you can beat the dungeon without it. But the second one is, and the main one for other modes for me, is just prioritizing not leaving any zones where there's just one thing left to check. Like, in this Seeds, leaving Catfish alone like that was just killing me the entire race, because I had no idea when I would ever go back there.
Yeah. I think a lot of runners end up in that situation with the Zora area, more generally, when they do the the early fake flippers with the Moon Pearl and go get the Waterfall Fairy and see there's nothing on the ledge, but they don't have Zoras, right? You took a potentially 4, maybe 5, if you can route it with Catfish area, and turn it into a single chest area, and it becomes that much harder to go back.
Yeah, in Keysanity, you definitely need to respect those out-of-the-way chests and locations. It's so much more likely that you need to go there.
Yeah, like I usually even route Agana with the dam and nobody goes to Agana. But it's just one of those one chest locations that I don't like leaving all alone like that.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, this seed, Agana having some real value, which is not something you see all the time, but it happens.
Did anyone find the boots in the seed?
Nope.
Yeah, I would be very curious to know where those were.
Probably in GT at this point.
Yeah, hopefully Tile Room. I feel like if you're not going to get the boots, they should be in the worst imaginable.
I can't wait for them to have just been like in the spike chest in Mire.
Did you not check that chest? I can't remember. No, because everybody
Yeah,
everybody routed similarly, and so everybody was in go mode with that big key before walking into that room again.
I believe Duke did check that chest there.
Yeah, I was actually trying a new route through Mire because I wanted to do that one thing that's been kind of discussed recently, where that one chest that's on the that little wire area before you go up to Vitrius. I wanted to do that last because that's been kind of talked about recently. But then, like, while I was going through the left side, I'm like, wait a minute. What if the big key's on the right side? Maybe I should just gone the normal way, and then sure enough it was. So I felt like I lost a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't ever go to the big chest without hitting the switch first. That stupid chest in Mire that's blocked by the switch on the right side is just too annoying.
Yeah.
I agree. So with DukeFireBird getting his Desert Palace big key, he is now officially in go mode and running to the back of Desert as quickly as he can. The Desert Palace small key that he had stolen, his replacement was actually in the vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock. So he had to take another trip up there to grab that. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad I don't ever make keys required.
Yep. Every once in a while it pays out, but it's definitely a very risky move. Could have been huge if it had worked, but...
Yeah, like I can understand it if you're in a situation where you're like, oh, I have no idea what to do anymore. But
Yeah,
it's really a tough decision to make.
absolutely.
One thing I was actually kind of considering, and this is something I saw in a race yesterday, I was almost thinking about doing like a death before that big chest, and then doing a save and save and continue, and then check that chest, and then potentially just reset the game, so I didn't actually waste the key if it was nothing good. But then once I got the fire rod in that first chest, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not doing that.
I know that's a strategy that a few runners have been employing. I've actually seen it done in pod quite a bit lately for the vanilla big key chest as well.
Right.
To check that and avoid burning the key.
Yeah, it's really cool, just like in general, seeing like a lot of different strats that have been used for this particular tournament because of that. It's honestly like, you always think that, okay, well, we've discovered everything with Randomizer, but then just something comes up, and honestly, it took this Keysanity tournament to bring out a few other new strategies as well.
I think it's really interesting because, you know, it seems like, you know, Keysanity, a lot of people were doing some neat, you know, more casual, you know, competition. But I think once people start really trying to route it out, you know, definitely interesting stuff falls out of it that doesn't necessarily make sense in open mode, but makes perfect sense in Keysanity. So it's been really, really interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's why I really enjoy Keysanity for that reason and many others. I just kind of like the full 100% rando where almost everything is randomized. It just kind of feels more natural, at least to me anyway.
Yeah, I have my own set of feelings on Key, but I think, you know, it's too early at this point, you know, where there's so much time that's been spent on competitive, you know, open mode or standard mode. And, you know, Keysanity is in some ways its own beast. So it'll be really interesting to see how it continues to evolve. So while we're all here and we're just watching, DukeFireBird is on his way up to right now, and then he'll just be able to run through there. It's a great time to give a shout out to all of our runners. All of these guys are really great. They're always running this game. Give them a follow if you would care to, and support the community. No shortage of randomizer entertainment. We've got a steady stream of races in this tournament and in other tournaments in the future coming up on Speed Gaming and on the ALTTPR channels. So definitely follow your favorites. We've also got who is tracking for us tonight? We've got Cyclone GU and Ralph is my name tracking for us. And if you guys don't know what goes into tracking these races, let me just tell you, it is a somewhat thankless job that involves paying a lot of attention to a lot of things for a long time. So definitely show those guys some love and support. And since we are on Speed Gaming, we've got a different set of people restreaming, but thank you so much to all the people behind the scenes who make these things happen. We did have some technical difficulties earlier, but man, you know, these people work so hard to keep the stuff working and to make it good for you guys. So love all around. So Duke has started his ascent. He's just coming into the spike room now. The room I'm always sad when I don't have the boots. I think GT is my least favorite dungeon to do without the boots, because there's so many strats that are so much more satisfying in this dungeon when you have the boots. Oh no, he hit the switch one too many times and is stuck. But managed to boomerang and get out of there.
I'm also really happy that this was the first time I had gotten a fairy in a tournament race and I didn't actually do an intentional death and waste the fairy.
So one
God, I
person
wish I
did.
could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your comment earlier about that.
Fairies are impossible too. Fairies, bootless bridges.
Yeah.
And both Moldorms are too.
Absolutely. I was happy to see that everybody got the good boomerang after finding the bad boomerang. Unfortunately, with the GT Big Key outside of the dungeon, we didn't get to see those blue boomerang. Oh no. Not sure if Duke has a fairy, so thank goodness.
Is that the same fairy from the beginning?
That is a great question, and I am not sure. That would be kind of impressive.
Yeah, because I believe I ended up losing mine on Trinex. At that
Oh,
point,
yeah.
like, it's fine. I was like, okay, well, I have more health anyway, so no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with pretty high health and red mail and a whole bunch of stuff. Duke does have powder. Only half of you got powder from the looks of the trackers.
Yeah, where was that out of curiosity?
I'm hoping one of you two remember, because I
mean, I
do
think
not.
my tracker's actually all messed up right now. I didn't get powder either.
Oh, okay. Well then, it's a mystery, and I don't remember where Duke got it. Lucky for him, he does have it, so despite losing that fairy, he's relatively safe here for the rest of GT. He just finished up Landmolus 2. Yeah, making quick work of those Riz robes with the Samaria strats. I think those are some of the most satisfying rooms to do in the game when you pull them off. It's one of those strats that just feels like the way it should have always been done. But I can certainly say that when I first played this game, I did not do those rooms that way. Apparently, powder was in Hera basement.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was getting worried that I'd have to go back up there and check that for the Desert Pals Big Key, and thankful that was not.
We were also getting worried about that.
I was waiting until I'd have to go back up there and then realize that the ether tablet that I skipped on accident was actually the key.
Well, it was the Aghanim's Tower small key.
Yeah.
The other one.
Well, good thing you only need one of those.
Yeah. That was cool, because I'd never had seen that message before.
Oh, the, tablet check message for that one?
Yeah, the flavor text for that.
Yeah, props to the development team that, come up with all the messages. Some of them are almost like little puzzles unto themselves. And DukeFireBird weighing a couple bombs on the Moldorm 2 chest.
Probably for the best.
I agree. I think it's the
You
appropriate...
steal his life savings and then blow up his chest? That's just kind of rude. I mean, I'm a thief, but I accept that.
Alright, and here we go into Aga 2. All three of you had pretty solid Aga 2 and Ganon fights. Couple, unfortunate patterns and stuff like that, but very quick fights all around.
Yeah, I think mine was like 2-1, or no, 2-3-1 or something like that.
And Aga 2 is down, so making pretty quick work of the wizard. Chat wants to know, is Ganon related to the bat in the Batcave? You know, that's not something I had ever considered, but now that you mention it, they similar.
That is a very good question.
I think this is something that we're all going to want addressed in the next official Nintendo Encyclopedia of Zelda or whatever.
The Hyrule Historia.
There you go. We need part 2. Alright, and Duke has moved on to phase 4. He's a little bit low on it, but oh no! Oh, he has another fairy. He's fine.
Oh yeah, I guess there was the bug catching note.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually caught himself a fairy or found something else. You know, we did collectively see all 4 bottles, although everybody picked up the same number of them.
He had to because I think 3 of them had bees.
Yeah,
Okay.
like 3 of them were bees, so otherwise I probably would have picked up that last bottle.
The one on the pyramid, I think, that you walked by?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, well, DukeFireBird has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 59 seconds. Give me just 1 second to see if he wants to come in.
Oh, he's already in the waiting room, or the setup room.
What a champion.
Hey guys. Loss. That's alright.
Hello, DukeFireBird. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
So, GG to you for finishing it out. I know that's always a little bit hard to do when you see that dot done and you're trying to figure things out, but that uncle...
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't even know how I forgot him.
Well, it happens to the best of us. You know, it's so many locations in the game, and so many of them matter in Keysanity.
Agreed.
Well, aside from that uncle play, how did you feel about Seed?
Seed seemed fairly linear, other than that.
I think there were maybe a couple of times where it opened up, but definitely, you know, it was a fair amount of point-to-point sort of stuff going on.
Yeah. For some weird reason, I honestly, considering who all was in this race, when I grabbed the Moon Pearl from Agina, I honestly had a thought I might have been in the lead, because I would have figured everyone else would have tried to sequence break Death Mountain.
So we had a bunch of sort of technical difficulties with the video earlier, and it's clouded my memory a little bit, but I don't think that you're wrong, actually. I think you were the first to go check Aghanis Cave and get that Moon Pearl. Everybody else delayed that for a while, so there was definitely... That was an interesting play, and you know, we were all kind of waiting for everybody else to go check it.
I got it pretty early. I did Kakariko, then Minimal Dawn came into Ice Rod, and then Dam into Agina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just tried to avoid too many sequence breaks, and I don't like doing the major one, like going up Death Mountain without the either lamp or flute. And then I was like, okay, well then that means there's either progression in like one of 2 spots, and I forgot what the other spot was, and then it's like, all right, let's go to Agina.
Yeah. So chat wants to know, and I feel bad for asking, but I am kind of, you know, do you have any idea what kind of led you to forget the uncle spot? You know, because you definitely, you know, were in the area a couple times. Was it just one of those just slip of the mind sort of things, or?
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it literally slipped my mind. Usually when I'm running Keysanity, I'll do my normal start, which is a sync to Houlihan, to Link, to Kakariko. and then if I have South Shore, and then if I have a reliable weapon, I'll go up to Castle, and I just forgot.
Yeah. No, it happens.
Yeah, I'll say this. Thank you for your tracker, because that's what helped me out a little bit.
Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was just using the items one. I'm like, okay, what did I forget? And like, okay, pull up the map, and I'm like, okay, I checked that. And then I saw Hyrule Castle, and I just went, oh no.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I capable of playing open mode pretty competently without a location tracker, but I gotta have a location tracker for Keysanity. There's too much to keep in my head. So yeah, I'm envious of people who can play this mode really well and keep it all straight.
Yeah, I was getting really worried because I was like, obviously you saw me, I basically 100%ed the rest of the seed. So I was like, okay, what's left? I was like, all right, got the small key to Turtle Rock. Okay, go check the vanilla big key. Nope. Actually, no, that was the biggest troll ever because I think that was the powder.
Yeah, so I did want to ask you about one thing. You did a very interesting thing, especially in Keysanity, which was to steal that key from the back of Desert. What was your thought process around that?
It was gambling for progression, and unfortunately it did not work. And at that point, I did know that Desert was a crystal. I did know that. So I was like, all right, this is a gamble, but because it's a crystal, I know that the key must be somewhere accessible.
Sure. That's totally fair. How did you feel about where you ended up finding it?
The second key, the key to Desert, I believe that was the bumper cave, right?
No, that was
Nope.
actually
No.
the vanilla big key in Turtle Rock.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Well, I was glad I went back to Turtle Rock. Obviously, now stealing that key was a bad move because, but
Oh,
Was
bad's a
that
strong
available
word.
to
I mean,
find it?
definitely dangerous, but
well, ultimately it was bad. In my opinion, it was bad. So
also this is something that we talk about a lot lately with Keysanity. I've had so many conversations about this, week or two. There's wrong decisions, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad.
fair enough.
So much randomization. You never know what's the right decision, and you can just try to make good decisions or smart decisions.
Yeah. There's only one item I'm curious about, and where the heck were the freaking boots?
We're all a little bit
No one
curious about
knows.
that. Yeah.
Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going with Tile Room, just because I feel like if
Shit.
they're gonna hold out on him that badly, just go all the way. Just put him in Tile Room.
Nah, they're gonna put him behind Ars Armos. That's probably what they're gonna do.
That would be the other one. I would like to see it actually on Bob's chest and somebody to miss them by falling down the hole. I think that would be the worst.
Yeah.
Wow. So everyone ended up clearing Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't feel as bad as making that play really early then.
Oh, I made that early. The moment I found that small key, I just beelined.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we have everybody done, I'm just curious to know, does anybody have any final thoughts? Anything you want to share or say about tonight's race or anything, really?
Well, I've added a new location. I'm never going to forget the check.
There you go.
I need to learn swordless hammer jump. That's basically what I'm taking from this.
I need to learn hammer jump.
All right, very good. Well, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I've been Imosaru commentating. Unfortunately, we lost my co-commentator, New York Rambler, to some technical issues. But on behalf of both of us, I want to say thank you to all the runners, the trackers, and the restreamers. You guys did a great job. Show them all some love. Give them follows if you like what you saw tonight. Like I said, everybody who's involved in this tournament, great community participants doing all sorts of cool stuff. So show some love, and thank you all for watching.
Yep, much love to everyone behind the scenes and chat. Good night.
Good
Good
night,
night,
everyone.
everybody.